Hello there, I'm Boo, and I like drawing, maximizing my hours in all the Pokemon games to find Chinese, and I really love to complain about lore in World of Warcraft. Hello, and welcome back to a new episode on the channel. Oh my, so much has happened. Well, did it really? Not really, honestly, just another weekly video, which is the new thing that I'm doing currently on the channel because I need some extra time for myself and also I need this new schedule to get all my real life work done. But nevertheless, we do cool stuff and I wanted to show off my Seething Slug or Seething Snail, I actually have forgotten her name, which is an amazing mount that you can get from the Zaralak Caverns, which thankfully for my sanity I never attempted to do while the Zaralak Caverns were current content because my oh my, this mount, according to the comments that I read on Wowhead, was one hell of a pain in the bum to get, but they changed quite a few things about it. You have steady flying there now, and also, you know, people are not that often in the Zaralak Caverns anymore, so yay! And also one other little thing that I want to point out in the intro because it's so dear to my heart is my new little companion, Fathom. Well, it's not really called Fathom, I think it's called Abyssal Lurker, and it's actually a pet that you can catch in Hallowfall. It only shows up as a backup pet when you battle other, pet battles in Hallowfall. But this fish is so worth it because first of all, it has like this super cool model of like the Ny'alotha fish from the Ny'alotha Assaults back in BFA, and also funny little detail, if you have dialogue enabled, then whenever you click on your fish, it does old god noises, which is pretty cool and something that I just love. I even put on dialogue for this little fella, which I've grown accustomed to never turning on in WoW anymore. But we're not only here to look at an amazing mount that makes amazing noises when you jump with it. Even though that is pretty much what I've been doing for the past few days ever since I got this slug. Honestly, if you haven't given it a try, I will probably put the Wowhead article how to get this mount into the description. And as someone who really disliked Dragonflight, maybe you also haven't gotten this one yet, it's definitely a lot easier now, so definitely get that done. Also something that I probably won't be doing in this video because I will probably get it done before Saturday is I will finally finish the Derby Dash. The Derby Dash gives you this amazing cool fish mount that we already had on the trading post last year, I think in summer, but in red, and it's called Ka, Legend of the Deep, which is just an amazing mount, but also an amazing Shadow Priest mount. One little thing that I want to point out at this point though is that if we look for the other fish, which, the Underlight Corrupted Behemoth, which is such a cool mount. It's completely fine if you use this with Skyriding enabled, because then it's just a very fast mount. But if you now click on here and change your flight style, oh, and you also summon one of your bodyguards that I kinda forgot that she also says something when she spawns. You all of a sudden only have 310% flight speed, which is not the normal flight speed anymore because we have 420. This is probably due to the fact that this also now has swim speed increased by 100, which is something that we first had to bully them into, that yes, maybe the fish should also swim faster. This is something that they love to do with like mounts that are able to do more than just, fly, that they in some way or other restrict them, which is so annoying. I'm not really a fan of this stuff. Like now you might say, well, 310 is still fast. Yeah, but if you compare it to 420, that's not that fast, you know? Just a little thing on the side. And since my wife already has the red version of this beauty, she's actually the one that got me into doing the Derby Dash because it's actually not that hard. Like you still have to fish quite a lot and some of these fish are very annoying to get because it's all percentages and chances. But yeah, the Ka, Legend of the Deep is also slower than normal flying mounts if you like to do steady flight every now and then, which You probably do, because for some things, normal flying is just better. Also, a little shout out to our newest little feature that is the advanced option Enable Cooldown Manager. This is so Blizzard. In my latest video or the video before, I talk about the Cooldown Manager and how that is definitely a step in the right direction, and I kinda stand by that, but man, this is so Blizzard and it's just so bad, because Blizzard decides what your cooldowns are that are being shown by this. As you can see, this is my Shadow Fiend and also my Void Eruption. Now, the Void Eruption tracking, I absolutely understand. This is pretty cool, because if you know anything about Shadow Priest, then you know that you extend your Void Eruption cooldown whenever you press Devouring Plague. Now, this gets paused if you have a certain talent from the Arcane tree out of combat. The cool thing is, this stupid cooldown manager doesn't show you the paused cooldown anymore. Like, it doesn't add up the numbers. Only when you go back into combat and it counts down again. So that is my first little remark. Second of all, you cannot choose to track power infusion. There's just no way to track power infusion. Which is so infuriating. Like, bruh, why are you showing me Shadow Fiend but not Power Infusion? And this is only the annoyance of a Shadow Priest. I bet there are so many other things and so many other classes that this cooldown manager is completely useless for. I absolutely believe it. Well, it's Blizzard's attempt at doing something that add-ons have been doing for us for almost 20 years now. And now, after all these years, they also think that, hey, maybe we can also just track this in-game. You know, we have the same amount of information, even more than most add-on writers. But just like every single time with Blizzard, they kinda half-assed it. Anyway, I'm gonna quickly send all of my followers onto some missions. I have a new follower, my beautiful Allseeing. I don't know, cute banshee girl. This is my new combat ally. So far, High Priestess Ishana has doing the honors, but now she's just been demoted to a normal follower. Yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I just like to do this because honestly, I've never really leveled up all my followers in the Priest Auto Hall because I get so bored by the Priest Auto Hall, but I'm trying, okay. So, you know what? Let's send them all onto a mission together, just like that. And let's also go here and click this and have some peace of mind. Hell yeah. And also, I think we can finally pick up that our last follower can be active as well. Okay, never mind. It takes forever to research this. Never mind. I didn't say anything. Alrighty, everyone. It is vault time. And this vault should be very exciting. We're gonna generate some loot for Shadow. And now, bada boom, bada bang, please be something nice. Yeah, so without even looking at the items, oh man. Okay, so my mythic vault, once again, is just a bunch of garbage. Okay, but first, let's look at the raid finder and stuff that we're definitely gonna choose not. Hands. That weird trinket and that one ring that no one ever wants. So, I mean, we got our biz back, which is great because, you know, bags are definitely the big thing in town. You always want your bags to have the highest item level. This is a cool ring if you like crit and mastery. If you would rather have some haste, then this is not so good. I mean, it has a lot of mastery, and I'm wearing a veteran ring. But to be honest, I was actually saving up my gilded crest to just create a ring, so we will probably do that. And we also have a sash with a socket. However, I mean, those are not the best stats, but at least it got mastery and a socket. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably have to sim this. And this is the stuff that we got from the Delves, which is kind of cool because it's a hero chest and one of the worst trinkets imaginable also on hero. But yeah, I mean, if you have mythic items, then you would probably always just choose mythic items. Okay, so just because it's my birthday week doesn't mean that my vault could ever be good. Duly noted. Alrighty, that was super disappointing. But you know what's not disappointing? My Garrison. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of disappointing because it's only on level 1. I only leveled through the opening of the Draenor portal, and yeah, then I let my Garrison do Garrison stuff and accumulate some of these Garrison resources. Because, in case you don't know, you need quite a few to upgrade your Garrison to level 2 and then 3. And that just takes time, unless you want to farm rare mobs, of course. But we don't want to do that, we want to be lazy. But speaking of Garrison resources, I think, yeah, we can already upgrade to 2. You know what, we're just gonna do that real quick.
I have seen you and your armies win many hard-fought battles across Draenor. We now face our greatest challenge as we attempt to unite against the Iron Horde.
Oh yeah, more plots. Here we go. Very, very nice indeed. I always love these little cinematics because they're so disconnected from whatever you're doing nowadays, because in Draenor, they finally started to just give you little, little skips when you already done stuff on your account. So I don't think I ever had to quest on Horde side at all, because I mostly played on Draenor on Alliance side. I mean, I know the story because obviously at this point I've already played it, and I really, really like it, by the way. But it's still funny that Durotan talks to me that way, because I barely know the man. Anyway, I just realized that these are not the same height. Oh my god, that probably bothered a few of you. I'm very sorry for that. I don't know why that sometimes happens. Anyway, it is, by the way, the second week of CupOfBoo, because if you're like me and you trust this calendar, then you probably also didn't see that, because they still don't really put it in here. Because CupOfBoo is now always 2 weeks. They started doing this at the beginning of the War Within because they kind of effed it up, because they didn't give us the whole amount of weeks. And oh, I still have slow flying. That is so not impressive as a drag there. Oh no. Anyway, because they effed that up at the beginning of the War Within with the people that bought like the epic pass to play the expansion like 2 or 3 days earlier, and the people that didn't, CupOfBoo was not available anymore because you had to be level 30. Yeah, exactly, level 30. Level 30 is the new level. Level 80, and they still are trying to redeem themselves from that, which I can roll with that. I like if CupOfBoo takes a really long time to go away again, because, oh wait, that's the wrong button, because I actually grinded out quite a few honor levels, you know, we're almost 56, which for someone like me who doesn't do any PvP content whatsoever is pretty dope. I mean, I want to get to level 80 at some point, because then I have all the appearances, but obviously, I'm still not there yet, because that's just so much grinding, man. And I like CupOfBoo as much as the next person, but I've been exalted for quite some time now with the Defiler. So you probably feel me when I say I don't want to do any of that right now. That's what I say, and then I just join a CupOfBoo, of course. And also, no, someone joined last minute, and now I will have my little week hour just hovering up here, annoyingly reminding me of the fact that only 14 of my 15 group members are buffed by my buff. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, that is very lovely. Oh, and we need to exchange Halo for Holy Nova, because we don't really need a Holy Nova. Oh, and no alliance is coming here. Okay, and Mr. Warlock definitely has to tap that. I mean, sure, King, go ahead. Although, do I already want to go to the stables? Wait, yeah. The alliance have the stables and we have the farm. Yeah, I always mix them up, because I've been playing on both sides so much that I just don't know anymore. Anyway, let's slug our way over there with our cool mount. Man, I love this mount so much. And let's just pop cooldowns for 2 mobs. Sure, why not? Why not? Oh no, she bubbled. How dare you bubble? Ah. Anyway. Well, after opening our vault, I definitely also want to take a little look at the person here that needed buff. Yeah, they were here. Hell yeah. How nice. We're also gonna take a look at Ny'alotha again, because I'm still trying my luck with the Ny'alotha mount, the Allseer, that cool jellyfish with all the eyes, which is a very, 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 very cool mount in my humble opinion. And yes, this character had a name change. So what? It was my birthday, okay? I can buy myself a name change if I want to, and even though I really like the name Janelle, for some reason I was never really vibing with this character, and now she's called Misery after one of my absolute favorite Stephen King books of all time, so, you know? Pretty dope. Also, Misery, I think, is a absolute slapping name for a Shadow Priest, so there's also that. And here I am, once again asking Blizzard to maybe just turn down, or even better, off the cooldown of Shadow Crash and just give us Shadow Crash all the time. How about it? Or like on a 10-second cooldown, imagine. Or a wider range, imagine that. There's so many things they could do to Shadow Crash that they will never do because they just hate Shadow Priest for some reason. I don't really know why, honestly. But also, here's to hope that maybe next expansion that will be different, because next expansion will definitely be the Shadow expansion, no? I think it will be. So, you know? Maybe we're gonna get lucky. Also, look at me. Little PvE noob just getting stunned left and right, but who cares? That's why I go into the match with all the NPCs, because I can't do PvP for real. I'm sorry. I'm a PvE noodle. That's gonna stay that way forever. Hey, sexy boy. Man, I wish you were the only boss that I had to kill before I can try my luck at the mount again, but nope. Obviously, I still don't have the skip, so still all of Ny'alotha it is, and I'm not even missing much Transmog from here anymore, so that's a little bit awkward. Wait, shouldn't this dragon turn into like a faceless one that like deceived us? Because obviously this is not really Rathian, this is just another illusion. What are you hiding? Anyway, in the beginning, when I did this raid for the first few times, I was only on my main in here with my guild back in the day. And I thought that Ny'alotha was only whispering to me and other people who had the crown. You know, the crown of Ny'alotha that never did anything at all. I think there were like 2 interactions in the entirety of BFA where you could, for once, spot an NPC that was also wearing the crown, and at another point you hear like 2 NPCs talk to each other, and only if you have the crown. And that's it. That's all they ever did with that. Yeah. So it's not that good. I'm actually thinking about maybe getting the crown again. I have a fake crown here. This one you get if you cleanse it, then you get this as a toy. And I mean, I would just prefer if they would have given us this as a transmog option, because since it's not doing anything at all anyway, you know, I would have not hated to just cleanse it on some of my characters, because even though it gives you a cool little buff that says Ny'alotha sees all, it doesn't bloody do anything except for ruining transmog, because that it really does, man. It's so sad, like you never see the head transmogs of any of your characters if you have that thing active, so that's pretty dope. Oh no, die! Aha, hell yeah. And he did. And let's zoom back. And now, oh no. Oh no, not Maud again. Maud or Maud? I actually don't know. I always call him Maud. I think that sounds kind of cool. But that boss is so annoying because you have to do all the little beetles that run around him first before he comes active, and since the beetles are level 50 and you're level 80, it's it's not going well. It takes forever to gather them all, but that's just the joy of doing old content, you know, especially when they never touch up upon these things. But it's old content, who cares, right? I care a lot. Oh yay! Exciting news! We got a staff, and I mean, I don't hate this staff. I kind of really like these staffs. Wait, can I turn this? Hello? Can I please? No? Why does my add-on bug out lately so often? I cannot show you how this cheats because I cannot take off my burnished sinstone chain. But yeah, you just have to imagine the staff. No, it's a really cool staff. I really like them. I like these little. They're so freaky. Ah man, Ny'alotha is so pretty. And looking at this, I should probably run this on a different difficulty every now and then. But and now it's the same it was with ICC 24 heroic before I got invincible. Why would I? Why would I put in all this work and time to do this again on a different you know, on a different level if I'm just here for the mount. I just realized that it's kind of stupid of me to farm so much Ny'alotha without actually first discovering the horrific visions with Rathian, because I'm pretty sure that all of these extra special little bosses that, you know, you can defeat in every raid, but also in Ny'alotha, I think they give you corrupted mementos, which is a currency that you can use to buy transmog and mounts and BFA stuff from Rathian, and I'm pretty sure that I'm still missing the mount. Wait, horrific visions? No. Corrupted mementos? That's not how you spell corrupted, huh? Corrupted. That's more like it. I think it's a little fly. Nah. I don't know what it's called, but I think you get a fly from Rathian, and I never got that one because I never saved up all the corrupted mementos, because I think back in the day you needed them either for the corruptions that you could put on your gear or for something different that I would rather want to have. And now I'm here, my corruptions are long gone, and I don't have that stupid mount, so, you know. This should be a lesson for all of you kids. Always, always go for the transmog and the mounts, because they are forever gear, however, is not. I say, after I crafted, I think, exclusively stuff that doesn't give me any transmog whatsoever, but, you know. We live to learn. We live to learn. Oh man. Okay. Hi Vexiona. You look so cool. I love the mount that they made in your honor. The head of the curve mount from back in the day. And now I'm here for the other mount. Boom. And it's so annoying that they... Wow, did I get this? I got the same loot 5 times. Oh, that's hard. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that is also something that I wish they would address. Like, if you do legacy runs, then maybe just give people not 5 times the same item. You know, 2 times is already pretty rough, especially if you're not really, you know, if you're not really doing that together with someone else. But 5 times the same? Not good. Let's sneak through here. And yeah, I think, for example, Darish of the Nothingness is one of these bosses that actually gives you some corrupted mementos for Rathian. I don't think it's that much, but I think it's like 100 per run, per mob. So it's kind of a lot. And I think you need like 100,000 for the mount, I think. Not 100% on that, actually. But it would probably been cool if I just done that before that. And it's weirdly enough a quest that you cannot skip, by the way, even though they were crazy about skipping back in BFA. But you know, that's Blizzard for you. You wanna give me my mount today? That would be so cool. Oh, imagine, just one time I wanna start a grind for a mount and get it, like within the first 10 or 20 attempts. I don't think that has ever happened to me. I mean, to be fair, I got Elegon pretty fast, but since this is now a mount you were just able to buy in the remix, and I think you can still buy it, I don't really know, it doesn't count anymore. Which is, by the way, why I thought that was a little bit stupid. Unpopular opinion, I don't think you should just buy random mount drops just like that, but hey, I know that my opinion on that matter is a very rare one for some reason. Anyway, let's get this mount, guys. And back we go to the Chamber of the Heart. And now, one of my favorite animations in the game. Man, that looks so cool. That looks so cool. I hope they use that some more. By the way, while I'm in this fight, someone under the last video commented that sometimes I'm very hard to understand underneath all the sounds of the game. And I asked them when exactly that happened, because I'm actually very interested in that. So could you please tell me if that is the case with like the normal gameplay, or if it's the case for sections where I, for example, put in some extra music, because I sometimes do that. I don't think I will do it in this video, but I definitely did it in the last. So if you've ever noticed that, then please tell me in the comments when exactly that happens. But for now, I actually turned off, or I turned down the audio quite a bit, So if it's not too quiet, then also please tell me that so I can change that again. And now, drum roll please for no mount. Hell yeah. Who could have known? That is incredible. It only has like 1% chance drop, okay? By the way, I was thinking about this while fighting my little fight against Ny'alotha. I would actually like it if every single time you defeat a boss like Ny'alotha or Arthas or, you know, bosses that also drop a very, very elusive mount. And if you've done that for like an entire year, you know, like 54, 55 times, every single time you get a token, and after like 50 wins or something, you can just buy them out. Would that be fair? I think that would be fair. I think no one should farm mounts like this more than like, you know, a year. Now, if you would also make them account bound so you can still grind them out with different characters, I would leave that one up for Blizzard. Honestly, I don't really care. Like, I know that some people do not whatsoever. Oops, that was a random item. Well, I can try to sell this one, I guess. Yeah, this is, by the way, super, super sad. First of all, the mythic weapons sometimes don't have the mythic appearance, but more the normal appearance, and you need the normal appearance to have the mythic appearance. And also, like, you know, wands, right? Wands are so cool in WoW, but you never wear them. Therefore, you never transmog them. Blizzard, just please let us transmog weapons onto other weapons that are not the same. You know, you did it for many of the melee specs. Also do it for casters, would you? Anyway, what I wanted to finish my train of thought. Yeah, I think that it would be nice if you could also just, yeah, maybe you could also just farm it with alts and therefore increase your counter of the currency. But I think that would be like a nice middle way, that farming mounts would still be like quite the grind, but at some point there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that would be fair. As someone who spent 13 years farming for Invincible and had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of attempts on that mount, I think I would have been fine after 1 year of extensive grinding for it, you know? Just speaking from a personal point of view. Alrighty, remember when I said that I wouldn't put the fishing derby in here because that's on Saturday, and on Saturday I want to release the video. Yes, I still want to do that, but I also wanted to include the fishing derby. So here we are. I haven't started it yet because, in case you don't know, it is a pretty neat little event that they've done in the War Within, where every Saturday you can accept a daily throughout the entirety of Saturday, and then you get a buff, and within 1 hour you need to fish up 3 certain fish. But what you can also do simultaneously or disconnected from that is that you can fish all these fish while you have the buff, and then at the end you get a mount if you manage to fish all of them. I mean, you can try it every Saturday again, and I think you can even try it on different characters as well. But I am usually someone who likes to do stuff like that on one character only. It might take a little longer, but it's also fishing skill related, so whatever. And here we are, and I think we're shy 4 points to 300. So then we're all set for trying to get the Awoken Coelacanth, which I've been trying to get for 2 fishing derbies now, actually. And even though my wife was lucky enough to already catch that one with a little bit over 150 skill, I think, I just haven't been lucky. I mean, I was lucky enough to get almost every single one in one fishing derby, so I know. Also, not being too unblessed in that department. But this last one didn't want to nibble, not even a little bit. And it's actually one of the harder ones, because to even get a chance to catch it, you need 10 of these Whispering Stargazers. You have to throw them into water in Ashkahet, then you get a special new buff, and then for 5 minutes you have a chance to fish this beautiful specimen of a awoken fish. But I wanted to first get my fishing skill all up to 300. No, you don't have to do that, obviously, but I just want to do that. Especially because I'm not running around with the best fishing rod. I only have the Bismuth Fisher Friend equipped, which is the green one, because I haven't been able to gather enough artisans acuity, that blue stuff. that new blue stuff that you need for that. Because you need 300 to craft that fishing rod, or let someone craft it for you. So, you know, I thought let's just get the 300 and then try again. And if we still don't catch it within 1 hour, man, then I am just one unlucky little shadow priest. Another little thing that you can do is gather a few of the other fish that give you perception and fishing skill buffs. I've also done that. It's just, well, leveling up my fishing, obviously. It's kind of nice, and even if you don't have the patience to do all of this, you can buy all of these fish on the auction house. But since it's kind of nice to have at least a little bit of fishing skill to even attempt to do this achievement, and you probably shouldn't do this achievement if you don't like fishing, I would just say don't bother buying anything on the auction house, just fish it yourself. You can also sell all of that stuff after the fishing derby is over and make a good coin, so, you know. Fish always give good money. And I have also somehow saved up some cursed ghoulfish. I noticed that if you have some extra perception, you more often than not fish up 2, and then the second one doesn't give you a debuff, which is pretty nice. You only have to throw in 1, and that way you can save them up because they also give you perception. And all of these perception and fishing skill buffs, they stack, which is pretty cool. I mean, you also have to throw in quite a lot of fish to actually get it, and ooh! Look at that. A Gary Fisherman. Hell yeah. By the way, just a little complaint for someone who actually started this game out in German. The super cool title, there it is. Yeah, the super cool title, Salty, is called more or less The Terror of the Sea, or of the Seas in German, which is such a cool title, and Salty is also a cool title, you know, not scruffing up my nose at that one, but it's so sad that in German it just sounds so much more menacing, and sometimes I wish that, you know, maybe they would have, maybe the original title would be more like the German version of it. Just sounds cooler, and it also would fit pretty nicely with a Shadow Priest. Okay, let's get that herb, because I've been neglecting my herbalism quite a bit lately. And now I'm gonna go to Hallowfall to actually accept the fishing derby there. And then we're gonna go to Ashkahet. Alrighty, and here with Captain Oathmouth. Oathmouth? I don't know, that girly over there. You can accept Hallowfall Fishing Derby. And then you get the buff that I was talking about for 1 hour. And we're gonna quickly check our inventory that is painfully full. I'm very sorry for the look of this, but I haven't thrown anything onto the auction house yet. I will do that after I've hopefully fished up my awoken coelacanth, and then probably also fished up the bloody perch, roaring angle seeker, and spiked sea raven, which are the fish that we should fish up this derby to actually finish this quest. Yeah, that is also something, like, apart from fishing all of these special fish during the buff, or the duration of the buff, you should also fish up the other special fish, and some of those you can only fish up at certain parts of the world. So maybe before accepting this quest, just do yourself a favor and wowhead all of the fish of the current one, and just follow wowhead, because sometimes the game tries to explain it in like your fishing journal, but I tend to not really believe this journal because it's wrong. Most of the time it's not correct. Like, it says that you can only fish certain fish at certain places, and usually that's not the case. So, you know, keep that in mind. Anyway, we're gonna accept this, and then we're gonna move our little dragon bum into the air, and we're gonna fly down to Ashkahet. Because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter into which kind of water you throw all of your stargazers, because as long as it's into the water of Ashkahet, you have a chance to fish up the awoken coelacanth. I don't know how to pronounce that. It just reminds me of one of the Pokemon that is like that super old stone water type fish, which you know, is based on that a real life fish that is like a living fossil. That which name eludes me right now. I know that it's called Relikanth in German. I don't know if that's also its English name. I actually kind of forgot. But that is the problem if you play games in 2 different languages. Then you get sometimes very confused. Anyway, we're gonna find ourselves a nice little source of water. And then we're gonna land here. And we wanna land somewhere where there are no enemies that can disturb us. Because in case you don't know, as soon as you get attacked by an enemy, you stop casting out your fishing rod. I'm gonna quickly, yep, we can fish here. That's nice. And now I'm gonna first throw in a few of my perception fish. Just so I get a perception buff. Because, you know, this time I really want to get this fish. I mean, this is very typical WoW. To get the 5-minute buff for the perception, you need to throw in a bunch of fish first. And by the time you finally have gotten the buff for all these stargazers, your fishing buff from the first start will have already run out half again. So that's fun, but that's just WoW for you. Alright, and now we have the special buff, and now we will just try our luck with our first batch of special fish and our fishing derby dasher, yeah, derby dasher equipped. And there we got it instantly. Okay, that was very anticlimactic, but also pretty cool. Okay. I mean, I kind of expected this because having fishing on 300 is not necessarily what you have to do to get this, but no matter, we got him. Hell yeah. And I don't have to fish any longer to get this beauty. Oh my god. Okay, this is... Well, isn't this a neat ending to the video? Well, I will now also get my other fish, obviously, for the quest, because I want to finish my fishing derby this time, because I didn't actually last time. Last time I tried to get the last fish desperately and it never happened, and then I was very sad, but wow, look at this beauty! That's actually such a nice recolor. I am usually not very fond of recolors, because I think they're rather lazy, but when they do it well, then they do it well, and all I can do is applaud. Alright. But with all the fish in Kazaga being fished up by me, and also another very disappointing weekly vault behind me, I'm gonna end today's episode right here and now, because I'm also a little bit, my throat is a little bit dry, because like I already said on my socials, I was on a Miracle of Sound concert 2 days ago. That was actually my birthday present that I got from my wife, which was amazing because I've been a fan of Miracle of Sound for over 11, almost 12 years now, and man, I love that man's music so much, and I was such a happy little bean in that little concert hall. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please consider leaving a like or a comment. It helps and I appreciate it so much. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing that as well. And I cannot wait to catch you for the next episode. We will probably do some cool stuff again, just like always. And until then, see you next weekend. Bye bye.